Good morning. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this fine Monday morning where it is already 28 degrees. It's fantastic weather. I hope you're all good this morning. And Celtic dropped a bombshell, absolute bombshell, where it is bit of news last night, didn't they? And no one expected it. No one saw it coming. Let's jump over to the Celtic website, and Celtic welcome a lifelong Celtic fan to the club. That's what makes it even better, isn't it? It was some piece of news last night. Celtic welcome Ross Grant to the coaching team. Where's the camera disappeared to? Let me just leave me off the camera. No, probably better. There we're there. We're on the wrong side as well. Let me just sort that. And there we go. So yeah, Celtic welcome Ross Grant to the coaching team. Now, why is this an important? It's not just a case of replacing Gavin Strachan. No, Celtic have been absolutely woeful in the amount of corners that Celtic get. The return from corner to goal ratio is absolutely disgusting. Hearts, on the other hand, scored something like 18 goals from set pieces. No one scored more goals from set pieces last year in the league than Hearts. Hearts scored 15 goals from corners. This is what makes it an absolute steal. I think that we should all just sit down and not worry about the lack of activity in the forefront of Celtic, in the public eye of Celtic. This deal, the club has been working on developing the football backroom team in recent weeks. Let me just close the screen down. We are now pleased to confirm that Ross Grant will be joining Martin O'Neill's coaching staff, with Ross having particular focus on set piece analysis and coaching. Ross joins from the Premiership champion from Premiership to the Premiership champions from Hearts, where he was a hugely important part of their coaching team last season. Holding a UEFA A licence, previously worked with Dundee United for 4 years, and he spent last year with Hearts again. A long life Celtic supporter. He has valuable experience in set piece analysis, coaching, and player development. Martin O'Neill said, "I'm really pleased to welcome Ross to our backroom staff. I know he's a highly rated coach, and look forward to working with him." Celtic played a blinder there. Let's put this into perspective. Celtic played an absolute blinder getting this deal done and over the line. Let's not underestimate how important this is. The fact that Hearts did so well from corners last year, 15 goals from corners. I think Celtic have scored maybe 3 goals from corners all season. Somebody will know the stats. I think it's a move in the right direction by the club. Gavin Strachan had been at Celtic for numerous years. If if Ross is if he is Ross Grant, if he is a long life Celtic fan, he will want to have a fabulous Celtic career, and I think that we should all welcome Ross Grant because we've broken hearts again. The meltdown. Oh man, it's hilarious. We need to jump onto Hearts pages just to see what they're saying. Just if you've got any Hearts friends, check in on them this morning. They lose McInnes. They lose one of the worst strikers ever, Shanklin, but they love them. And then they've lost the man that did so fantastically. I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely fantastic. This will upset the wee hun Derek McInnes. I tell you one thing, it's that will rattle McInnes, knowing that Celtic now have someone that is so good within the backroom staff. I mean, I think that Derek McInnes kind of looked down at Fozzie and Sean Maloney, didn't really rate them. I think he just little fiends. But I think that this guy coming to Celtic could be absolutely fantastic for the club. Now we turn our eyes, because there are still 4 There's still 4 Celtic players. Why is this opened? Let's close that down. There are still 4 Celtic players at the World Cup. Congratulations to Alistair Johnston and Canada. Alistair Johnston and Canada got through to the last 16 of the World Cup last night, winning a 1-0. Daiz Maeda, he is up tonight, I believe. Yes, he's. I might do a watch along for that one. 6 o'clock tonight. Brazil versus Japan. See how good Daiz Maeda is against Brazil, and compare and contrast to how Japan played against Brazil to Stevie Clark's Scotland played against Brazil. Anyway, congratulations to Canada, who beat South Africa. We'll get the score lines up. Share the love, as they say. And Brazil play Japan tonight. That is the other Celtic connection. And then you've also got Germany versus Paraguay, Netherlands versus Morocco. And then tomorrow we have the other Celtic player that is in the last 32, Benji Nygren. His Swedish team take on France tomorrow night. These are Central European times. I have to remind folk. And then the other one that we're looking at is on Thursday evening, where Austin Trusty, well, we're all looking to see if Austin Trusty's ankle has had a bad reaction, or if it was just a case that he went over on his ankle and he's maybe okay. Has there been any ligament damage? So we will be looking for more information to come out the camp of the Americans as they play Bosnia on Thursday evening. So whilst there are still 4 first-team Celtic players at the World Cup, the ones that have been eliminated, they'll get some time off. And Martin O'Neill said that. He says it's important that the players that have been at the World Cup do get some kind of holiday, because it's a long season, which means that we're going to be a lot of players down before the next time that Celtic play a game. And that is creeping ever closer by the day. You know, there's 8 hours, 9 minutes and 27, 8 days, 9 hours and 27 minutes until Celtic kick off the pre-season campaign in Dublin. And we still have no players in. So let's talk about players this morning. Celtic have been linked with the. I want to talk about the guy that Celtic have just stole for Hearts. I mean, I think that's. Could that be the best piece of business? Players are important, yes. Let's not really play down this situation. And let's take it right. Let's ramp it right up. The fact that we've taken this set piece coach, we've upgraded Gavin Strachan by 1,000%. This is no disrespect to Gavin Strachan, but we were absolutely woeful at corners. Woeful. You know, Gavin Strachan had his time. I don't think that he was a great set piece coach. I didn't even know he was your set piece coach. The fact that this Ross Grant, they had 23 goals from set pieces. 23 goals. Celtic don't get goals for set pieces. But how many goals, how many free kicks do Celtic try and, how many free kicks does Celtic get on the edge of the box? Let's put it into perspective here. You know, I think that it's looking good for the season ahead under Martin O'Neill from a coaching perspective. Anyway, right, let's jump back into the land of speculation. Celtic have been reportedly well, we know that Celtic are looking for another goalkeeper. They've been tracking the Hertha Berlin goalkeeper for some time as a potential target. Like, if that's the guy that they want, just go for him. Celtic need to up the pace. Do you know, Celtic fans in numbers would sit back. Glaswegian says Benji scored from a free kick last year, but I don't think that we scored as many as what we should. So true. When do we start bringing youth through the ranks? We need to develop Scottish talent for the future. Well, it's a very, very difficult situation. I've said this before that any Celtic manager finds themselves. You find yourself having to perform at the highest level, not only to win the league in Scotland, not only to try and win a cup double, a league and cup double, maybe even try and go for a treble, but to improve in Europe. And this is where Celtic really set their standards, is trying to improve in Europe. This is where the fans see us trying to improve in Europe. If you bring in, Martin O'Neill was a great advocate of bringing through youth players. Callum Osmond will be fantastic for Celtic this year. Dane Murray will be given his opportunities. There'll be other players that will be in and around the first team. Martin O'Neill will introduce them as the season goes on. We don't have the B team's a shambles. Don't know, the B team is a shambles when you look at it. The players just aren't there that have came through. There is numerous players that have came through that are on the periphery of the first team, but they're still not good enough as yet, is they? So anyway, no, I didn't. Let me just jump on to I was on calls this morning, way before I came on the live, getting some early work in. The Celtic prospect, 5 standouts who may force their way into the team. Well, I'll read that there. I think that it's going to be difficult for any of the younger players that are currently in the B side to force their way into this Celtic first team. They have to be up there. Are any of them Kieran Tierney level? That's your benchmark, is the form that Kieran Tierney was in, the level that he was at when he broke into the first team. Are there players that are at that level? Only Celtic will know. But anyway, Celtic are after the Hertha Berlin goalkeeper. They do have Sinisalo and Ross Dohan as goalkeepers. My only fear is we have a fantastic goalkeeper in Sinisalo. And if we bring someone else in, if we do bring someone else in and we push Sinisalo back down the pecking order, what does it say to Sinisalo? Because he's going to be like, well, I don't know, I was first choice keeper before I came here. But anyway, we've lost a lot of prospect talent down south because we don't give them a chance. Yeah, we need to give them a chance, but you have to also. How many of them have walked right into the first teams of clubs that they've went to? It's a very difficult. This all comes back down to a conversation that we have every year. Should we extend the league? Because with the 12-team league, Celtic have to win every game. Celtic you've got to pretty much. Well, we proved last year that you don't have to win every game to win the league. I think a really good Celtic side will run away with the league this year. That's what I'm kind of hoping. We'll get back to some kind of normality, natural order, as Hearts fans like to shout sometimes. But the ability to bring in young players, you've got to have a manager that believes in youth ultimately, and a manager that believes that, bringing on a youth player for the last 10 minutes when you're winning 3-0 rather than it's a very, very difficult situation, because we need to have a squad that's competitive enough to compete at the Champions League level. Bringing somebody in from the under-18s, the B team squad, they've got to be really, really good for Celtic to go, right, a manager to go, right, okay, I trust this guy to do it for me against some of the best players in Europe. And I think that the only way that you change that ultimately is by extending the league. There's another one. Bernardo needs to show something special in pre-season to get another sniff, in my opinion. I don't think that Paulo Bernardo hasn't done a lot wrong. The only issue that Paulo Bernardo has is that Paulo Bernardo plays in the same position as Callum McGregor. Now, that then comes down to the conversation of, do you take Callum McGregor off, and then Paulo Bernardo then becomes a bit part player. The issue that we've had at Celtic over the years is that really good players, don't want to be bit part players. So it's all about having a team and having a rotational system that maintains. And the issue is that we've not had players that have been good enough to rotate the team on a regular basis and still have the same level of high level performances. When we've seen Callum McGregor out for any length of time, we've missed him in the midfield. When you make big changes in cup games, this will maybe be the season where Martin O'Neill will go, right, I'm in for the start of the season. I'm going to give the second goalkeeper, right, you're getting the cup games. You'll get the cup games. If we get right to the final, you're the keeper for the final. None of this swapping back to what we did to Sinisalo a few years back. Don't know, and we lost that final anyway. Let's just put that out there. I think that Martin O'Neill will want to use the squad more in the cup games, and hopefully he'll work the squad up to the fact that he'll let them know. He'll say, look, I want you to be. You might not get a game every single week, but the cup run is yours. And that's the motivation. That's the way that managers can motivate players. They know that they're not going to play every week. They know that they're going to do the cup games. Right, that's it. Let's win the cup. Let's win the cup and then prove to the manager that I'm worthy of that first team position. And I think that that's what Martin O'Neill is really good at. All the news this morning is all about Celtic basically just stealing the set piece coach from Hearts. Let's jump into some of the comments this morning. We need to start playing Bernardo more. I think Calmac scored most of his goals from outside the box. Yes, he does. There's very rarely does Callum score a goal from inside the box. So you've got to have a holding midfielder that can step up to the mark. B team football is not competitive enough for young players. No, it's not. And that's why I think that it's a shame that we do not have reserve team football in Scotland. I can understand why they did it, but it's not worked. Extend the league and bring back the reserves and get the youth of Scottish teams to come through. Exactly. And I think that that's one thing that has been missing in Scottish football over the years. Let me just double check this. This is embarrassing.
So, you got a Rangers top on.
Yeah.
You got a Scottish accent. Go on, say something.
I've got a Scottish accent, yeah.
Scotland are playing Brazil later.
Yeah.
But where were you yesterday and who are you supporting?
I was in Boston yesterday watching England, and I hope Brazil win tonight.
Come on.
He's a wanker. That's enough of that. But anyway, I think need to rebuild the first team and have youngsters on the bench. Yeah, we do that. Are all the boards waiting to sell top players and the World Cup to finish before start rebuilding the team? Scandal. Lucky 15 Voodoo. Go and watch the video I did the other day about the 1,544 players that have already moved on in this transfer window. It will shock you if you haven't watched it. Geez, I've been off work for 4 weeks with a broken bone in my heel and still can't stand. That's a sore one. He needs to show that he's level up to challenge Calmac. I think that they're two slightly different players that play in the same position. Bernardo, the fact he was working with a personal trainer during the summer as well, as Kid Keeper has just said, hopefully that he will step up to the mark. If not, I think that we're on the verge of... If it was me, personally, after sitting 2 seasons on the bench, I'd be like, nah, I want to go and play football. You know, I've 2 years is a long time in football for any player. You've got to remember that players only have around about 15 seasons. Paulo Bernardo's been at Celtic for what, three or 4 seasons now? Taking his time on loan and then 3 seasons. So that's 3 years out of his football career. And to be sitting on the bench at Celtic, he could walk into any other team in Europe and I think he would be playing every week. But you're right. Kid Keeper says, I think Bernardo is going to perform thanks to the trainer he had over the summer. But hopefully, Mikel Ange Balak Wisher can step up to the mark, also having went through a similar scenario. I think Engels will be sold this week. We need to wait on Maeda and Hatate. Hope to keep Johnson. If not, go back for the Mexican. If the Mexican is still available by then, I think the Alistair Johnston situation looks like Canada's going to get through to, I would say, at least the last 8. And if they do that, you're not going to see Alistair Johnston back at Celtic. I mean, we're into July this week. You're not going to see Alistair Johnston back. If he's got another week at the World Cup, he's got a couple of weeks holiday. Alistair Johnston's going to be back about a week before the start of the season. He's going to miss out pre-season. He's not going to have had much of rest. He knows how the team plays, blah, 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 blah. You can step back into it. But if there's any change of tactics, formations, anything that they try and sort out in pre-season, Alistair Johnston will have missed out on that. How quick can he get up to speed with the rest of the team? And any new ideas? We've got a new coach that has a new set piece. This is a massive summer for Celtic. Having fresh ideas. This is what we've been asking for fans for so long, is new ideas into the club. And Martin O'Neill has brought in a new fantastic set-piece coach and analyst. So you want to get as many players in this week before we head off to Dublin and then before we head off to Portugal. Anyway, we'll wait and see what happens with Arne Engels. When we look back to the 1990s, yes, it was tough to watch. At least we can say back then football actually worked and youth players got a chance. Nowadays, it's all about stats and fitness. The game has gone. I don't think that the game has gone because younger players, and I can only talk from my cousin's experience with his son, younger players do get given their pathway. They know that they're on the periphery. They get the issue seems to be with Celtic is that they don't tell that the players that they're going to be in the squad, the first team squad, and there's a chance that they might get on the bench. And I think that that's all that young players want. Young players know that there's a pathway to get into the first team. They know what age they should be looking at to try and break into the first team. I know that my cousin's lad is about 2 years away from breaking into the first team at the club he's at. The fact that they've fast-tracked him from youth football into the B team last season, a year ahead of schedule, tells me that other clubs do not just look at stats and stuff. They look at how good the player is and the quality of the player. But the game is all about stats in general, so it's at Celtic, it's more about keep on winning. Bernardo and Bollock Washer might both have a good season. The board are still sleeping, Baz. Oh, wait a minute. Jim says the board are still sleeping. There we go. The board are still sleeping, Baz. They are not interested in bringing in players. They are only interested in selling off our big players. I think they have done a deal with the devil. Jim, I don't think that they've done a deal with the devil. I think that you can only sell a player once someone makes an offer for them. I think that they might be slow on the uptake in making offers for players. I think that that's something that we all know happens. So I don't think that they do not want to look for players. I think it's more the fact that they're just fucking lazy at it. Sorry for swearing first thing in the morning. This is good and told. A lot of talk that Dolsberg has knocked us back. And went to Ajax. So that was an old one. If Engels leaves, Paulo Bernardo should come in to replace him. Is Paulo Bernardo an Arne Engels type player? Is he? I think if he was up there, Arne Engels level, Matt O'Reilly level, I think he would have been in the first team already. Sadly, I don't think... You never know. One good season can change a player. Matt O'Reilly was not a superstar at Celtic until Aaron Moy left. if Aaron Moy hadn't decided to take early retirement, Celtic might not have even sold Matt O'Reilly that summer that they did, because Matt O'Reilly might still been kept out of the team by Aaron Moy. So it's all about, you never know what's going to happen in football, but we just take it as it is. Definitely like to see Callum move up front and another holding midfield player for us. Who do you then drop out the midfield? It's an interesting one. It's going to be interesting. I think that we wait and see what formations. I mean, the game in Dublin is it's just going to be a warm up game. There's nothing. We don't really see much in the Dublin game. When you start to get to the other games, the Sporting game, that's when you want to start see the Celtic formation. Last year, Brendan Rodgers changed the formation to 4-2-3-1, and we thought he was going to keep it all season. He reverted back to the 4-3-3. He lost his way early on in the season, Brendan Rodgers. We've seen him change formation. We've seen him play two up front at one point during pre-season. But when the season got underway and we lost all the players and we sold Adam Ida and we were left with who we were left with, Brendan Rodgers shat it and went back to 4-3-3. Hopefully Martin O'Neill will say, right, I want us to play fast attacking football, a bit like what Ange Postecoglou did. And then the time the Sporting game comes, that gives us a good test. The time the Middlesbrough game comes, that gives us another good test. The AC Milan game, that will give us a Champions League level test. Get us set up for the start of the season. Will Celtic try and fit in another friendly? I don't think so. They may try and fit in. I don't think they will. Will they try and fit in one the midweek? Considering the Celtic don't play till the Monday, remember. So they have the game on Saturday, the 25th of July. They don't play till the following Monday. Will Celtic try and get in a friendly on, say, the Wednesday? I don't know. Maybe that is it. Maybe it's a bit late for adding another friendly in now, isn't it? But we will wait and see. Ross Grant isn't only about attacking set piece innovation, he's about defensive innovation too, says Big Tom. It gets even better. It gets even better. We have broken Hearts completely. Should we check in on Hearts? I might check in on Hearts later and see how absolute devastated that they are. I'd like to see us using Bernardo more. I think a lot of us would. I think we need a Marquee signing to appease the fans. Rage at the very best. What is a Marquee signing? Arne Engels, you could say, was a Marquee signing at 11 million or whatever it was we paid for him. Adam Ida, 9 million. Is that a Marquee signing? I don't think that the days of Celtic having a Marquee signing are really there or thereabout anymore, because we're a club that needs to go out and find the best young talent that has the potential to come through and be the next superstars. That's what Celtic have to get really, really good at. And hopefully Martin O'Neill can do that. I can understand what you're going to say if we're going to sell Daiz Maeda, and hopefully Daiz Maeda has a fantastic game tonight and it puts his price tag up. We know that Celtic want in the region of 26 million for Arne Engels. If you can get 20 to 25 million for a player that scored 3 goals at the World Cup, that's easy. That's pennies. That is pennies. The opening bracket for Daiz Maeda should be 20 million, even though he's only got 1 year left on his contract. And all this nonsense about him staying at the club to finish out his contract. Shut that down. Sell him. Sell him whilst he's on a roll from the World Cup. Get the money in. I don't know. I don't really. He was woeful for the majority of last season. I don't want him coming back for the World Cup going, oh, here we go, going up to St Johnstone, fucking shite ground, fucking pish. I don't really want that. But I can understand where you're coming from. I think we need some kind of Marquee signing. I don't think we will get it. Top of the morning to you, Baz and the missus and the wee animals. Hope you're doing well. We need Celtic callers round them. Yes, they will get their first callers in the next week. They don't go outside, so they're indoor cats just now. But anyway, that's enough about that. What if Alistair Johnston gets injured? Well, then we need to step straight into the market and buy in Julian Arrojo immediately. Martin does well in Europe, he will want to go again. No chance, kid keeper. No chance. I think if Martin does well in Europe, he will sit back. I mean, there could be a side that you've got to remember that in 2003 we got eliminated from the Champions League and went down into the Europa. Say no more. Maybe steal the Hearts youth team setup too. Well, there's a striker that's coming through the Hearts youth system setup that is he has the potential to be really. And Celtic did try and get him before. I'd have to just put that out. Celtic tried to get him a few years ago, and he said no, thank you. If Callum Osmond is the number one, oh, how about a deal for Evan Ferguson? I don't think Callum Osman will be the number one. I think he will be number two striker at best. You've got to remember that you've got Johnny Kenny to come back to Celtic. It'll be interesting to see how long he is out injured for. My next target should be hitting 28,000 subscribers before Celtic make their first signing. Yes, it should be. And what are we sitting on? Subscriber wise, let me just double check. We're on 27,000 something or other. We are sitting at 27,148. So can we get to 20? Do we still have it on the main screen? Let's see. Do I have it or did I take it off? I took it off, didn't I? Yeah, we took it off. But there we go. I will show it on the screen. We're sitting at 27,148. Around about 60% of people that watch the videos do not subscribe to the channel. So if you can help us get to 28,000 before Celtic make their first signing in the summer, that'd be good. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. It means a lot to me. Trust me, it does. It's I absolutely love the fact that we're sitting on 27,000. That's no mean feat. No mean feat at all. Anyway, right, before I disappear altogether, finish off some of the comments. Arnie reads the game well. Paolo has got the vision. Both of them can put the ball through the eye of a needle, says Glaswegian. If you play to Bernardo's strengths, you'll get more out of the player. Yes, they painted the yellow lines on the stairs. Yes, that's the upgrade that they did at Celtic Park this year. They haven't been unpainted for around about 5 years, let it be said. Paolo is so creative. He is that, and without Paolo, we would never have won the Scottish Cup that season. I would love a 4-4-2, Baz, but I think it'll be a 3-5-2. I hope it's a 3-5-2. If it's a 3-5-2, we're in for a cracking season and a lot of goals. A lot of goals. Evan Ferguson would be up there as a Marquee signing. Could Celtic and will Celtic spend that kind of money to get him in? I think when players say a Marquee signing, they're thinking about someone like Scott Sinclair, someone who's been around and got lots of experience. Aye, but the Ox was nearly 4 seasons past his best. Was Oxlade Chamberlain a Marquee signing? I would say yes. He's won the Champions League and stuff, and he's won everything in the game. Absolutely everything, apart from the World Cup and stuff. But anyway, Engels will push to 28 to 30 million pounds due to the clubs competing for him. Hopefully, Celtic signing any player is a Marquee signing. For goodness sake, I hope Japan beat Brazil tonight. So do I, because that would be one of the biggest upsets in world football ever if Brazil were to go out to Japan. I'd like to keep Arnie and build the team around him. I don't think that Dane Murray is Celtic, but will be kept for the Scottish players. 8 players are needed. You don't think he's a Celtic? I think a lot of people underestimate Dane Murray. I think a lot of people underestimate him. Marquee Viduka, remember that well. Seen the new stadium kit online. Another piss take. I'm not even going to get angry at the Celtic kits anymore. We know what's coming. I think it's bloody ugly. I'll be honest. Those little triangles around this bit, it's honking. I'm going to say, yeah, it's not one that I would buy. After the season's finished, Arnie Engels will go for 30 million. Ferguson, no chance. Would love to see it, but only Tony Bloom won't allow it, as he's still a Brighton player. Osman looked as if he knew what he was doing, and Kenny will not do. We should make up secondary accounts to subscribe to Bash. No, don't do that, because then when you don't watch them on the secondary accounts, it's just happens. The speed the board move at, you could have 30,000. Yeah, this is very true. Our first signing should be Eliza Just, Araujo, Sriracha. I think the Sriracha, and I would try and sign Braga. Braga hates us. He hates us with a vengeance. He's not coming with us. But anyway, 3-5-2, the players down tools under Nancy. They never played 3-5. Well, they did kind of, didn't they? I think that the players were the down tools under anyone last year. I just think that that's the mood they're in. Right, that's me done and dusted for this morning. I've got stuff that I need to do. It's spot on the time here. What are we doing this morning wise? It's been a rather busy morning. It's been fantastic. Baz, what's the difference between subscribers and paying members? What are the extras? On the lives, you get little bits. I will be getting back to doing lives only for the members. It's difficult to do live only for the members because there is very little, and it's getting them all on at the same time, because a lot of the members are all around the world. The members are just people that support the channel, and then as this is my main income stream, YouTube, even though I do have various YouTube channels, it's what I do for a living, and it's just to be honest. Pablo signed me up. Yes, loves cash more than Baz. David Brent Cell 4. I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, right, that's me done and dusted for this morning. I will be back around later on this afternoon. Not sure if I'll do the watch along on this channel or I'll do it on the Baz Does Football channel, because I know that a lot of people get upset when it's not really Celtic related content on this channel. So I might do the live on the Baz Does Football channel, which is doing fantastically well as well. So thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. It means loads to me. It really does. And bring on the new season, as they say. Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, all around the world.